Footy Replay. The Chemist Warehouse. Spoil Dad with big brand fragrances at Chemist Warehouse, the real house of fragrances this Father's Day.
Step forward, Tippy to the Bombers. Tip and Woody, second bite, takes the mark. Tightish angle, but he should kick the goal, and he does kick the goal.
Brings it inside, attacking 50. Danaher went up, didn't put his hands up. Coming through for the Bombers there with Stewart.
That's a good craft.
Out the back of Vine, finally comes to Sharon. That's a better hit of the footy. That's a much better.
Oh,
baby!
Umpire.
Goal umpire has been poleaxed.
This quarter of SEN football for Identifiber, asbestos and hazardous materials risk management services.
I don't know why we get so excited when a goal umpire gets poleaxed, but for some reason we do. 4-3-27, Essendon 3-1-19. The Dockers, single goal kickers all over the place. Bell Chambers, Danaher, Stewart, and McDonald, Tip and Woody for Essendon. Fife, Sheridan, and Griffin for the Fremantle Dockers. Ground weather for Charlie Battisti. Horrific outside, magnificent in. Key matchups for Toyota Material Handling. We'll keep an eye on all of those. Brett Anderson's downstairs with poweryourbusiness.com.au business coaching that gets real results, BA.
A bit going on in that first quarter on the injury front, boys. Obviously, we had the late withdrawal of Cale Hooker, which we understand through investigations to be back tightness. There are some reports out there that it might be a calf tightness as well, so he might have both of them, Cale Hooker. Certainly in that first quarter, there was a couple little issues there for Fremantle. Bradley Hill rolled an ankle in a collision with an umpire. He stayed on the ground and seems to be okay. The same with Matt Taberner, who had a head knock. On the flip side for the Bombers, just the one real minor issue there, which was Paddy Ambrose, who came off with a blood rule with a cut just above his right eye, but he seems to be okay as well for Medibank.
Good man. Dodo stat sheet, upgrade Dodo NBN, get big in, and it bills the bird. Call 1-3 Dodo. Anything to reveal, boys?
Well, Essendon started really well, Del, and I thought it happened too easy. Then Freo got back into it. But I think it's the Danaher factor. I had a look, they went in 18 times, and just saw on the Dodo stat sheet, they went to him 8 times.
Yep.
So they're double teaming him well. Even though it's created a couple of goals, I think they need to get better options there. So well done to Fremantle through Mundy, Fife, Hill, and probably look for other options other than Danaher.
You're spot on, and if you're one of those other 3 or 2 tall forwards for the Bombers, you'd be just having a chat saying we've got to make sure we're always relevant. The ball's going to be coming in, we're going to get enough of the entries, but we've got to make sure we're hitting the right spots. And if we are under any doubt, go to Danaher.
What's standing at the Dodo stat sheet?
It's Goddard. He's had 11, 7 of them kicks, 239 metres gained at 71%. Wow. So they just need to put a little bit of focus into him. Once again, he is the spare man in defence already.
Second quarter underway here at Etihad Stadium. Bombers must win to play finals, unless things go really in their favour. But they've won another free kick, and now the Bombers bring it inside, attacking 50. Good one-on-ones everywhere. Could have been a free kick there to Freo. Haven't had a good rub of the green as yet with the umpires. Now coming through, Tip and Woody and Stewart. Stewart picks it up, Mundy wraps him up and says, give it to me. I don't understand why the umpires are in the light blue.
No, I'm with you, Ox.
Fluoro. No one wears fluoro.
But what about
charity
Friday
or something?
night?
It's a charity week or something, isn't it?
I understand the charity, but let's just get white or whatever, green, not light blue like the Bulldogs Friday night.
So it blends in. Freo to Hill, trying to get out. Now Watson, good handball. Just trying to work it out to McGrath, to Collier. Another free kick. Gee, the Bombers have had a good run. Now Goddard, nice work, brings it inside, attacking 50, Danaher flew. Oh, Bell Chambers at ground level, another good piece of crumbing. Trying to get out was Laverde, he didn't. And the umpire says, give it to me. Gee, I'm happy with Bell Chambers' work at the moment. Just playing really well.
Confirmation, boys. It actually is calf tightness for Cale Hooker, so that might be a bit more of a concern.
Joe Watson got it, had a snap now. Merritt! Snaps on the left goal to the Bombers. First one in the second term. They're on to 5-3-33. 3-0, 3-1-19. Good start, minute 20 gone of the second term. That's on the Jack Links jerky scoreboard.
Well, that was disappointing, that secondary stoppage there. They had the opportunity to get organised the Freo mids and defenders, and 3 of them were standing off the back, covering space. Zach Merritt went in and got the footy, and then came out on his preferred left foot after the initial effort by Watson. You just can't let dangerous players just drift out of the side, particularly the side of stoppages on the preferred. That's his 12th disposal. We're 1.5 minutes into the second quarter. There's his first goal. He's too good a ball user to give him any space, let alone 5 on the side of a stoppage in your forward half.
No, correct, Wade. It's different if it's a young half forward, but when it's your key playmaker?
Second quarter for Identifiber. Bell Chambers got the better of the bounce and then thumped it about 20 metres further forward.
You know what? He's smacking Clark, isn't he?
That bounce, though,
Griffin,
was so,
sorry.
that bounce was probably the most unfair.
It should have been.
Look at this, look at this.
Another chance. Collier runs onto it. Lovely little fend over the top from Danaher. Merritt for number 2. On
fire,
the
Merritt.
left boot again. Kicks another one. Chisholm and Yeoman goal of the day. Merritt's kicked 2 in 2 minutes. Magnificent little bit of work from Danaher.
Oh, Ross.
And they bounce out now to a 20-point lead.
Have a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay here, Del. Merritt's just kicked a goal. Look at the lack of attention on Merritt.
You don't want to name names.
Yeah, come on.
It's Fife.
Yeah, well, mate,
it's got to be one of the midfielders. Fife was trailing in 5 behind.
absolute disgrace.
And you spoke about Luke Ryan being a really good ball user. He's now the extra defender. So I guess his direct opponent is actually Goddard, who's 150 metres away at the other end of the ground. So they're both going to play a spare defender. But even with a spare defender, you need to be able to work your way out of a stoppage if you're a midfielder. Take your man. Put some time into Merritt.
I think it's Stephen Hill too, boys,
you know
on
what?
Merritt.
It is at this stage BA, but whoever is closest to him at a stoppage, you have to put body work into it.
Because Myers is running with Fife.
Yep.
I know that, BA, but in that situation, Fife actually had him.
No, it's secondary throw up because the bounce didn't count. Comes up
no, it
towards.
didn't favour Essendon.
Well, it didn't. Yeah, Fife got it though. Now out to Ballantyne. He'll drive it inside, attacking 52 on 1. Crozier, oh, nearly took a beauty. Going back, Goddard there. He's the loose. Got the hands away. Gleeson wrapped up in the tackle.
Oh.
Coming through Tabernar. Good work.
Yep.
Oh.
No, that was high contact.
I'm being facetious about that bounce, but exactly the same thing happened to the previous
And
bounce.
Bellchambers smacked it 40 metres forward.
Yep.
And they brought it back to the Freo one. Just a little bit of inconsistency with the bounce at the moment. Bagley free kick, Tabernar too high. Deep in the pocket for the Bombers.
He's drawn blood here. He's wondering why there wasn't a bit more to this, I think.
No,
I've just watched it on the Chemist Warehouse replay.
there's
No.
nothing in that. It's a free kick.
Taverner went in to pick up the footy, just clipped him on the way through.
It's a free
Yeah,
kick.
actually, there wasn't a chin at all.
Bagley's got it deep in the fence now.
Good call, Del.
Looks up the line. Danaher! Good mark. Love it when a player puts the arms up at full reach. That's how you go at the footy, Spud.
Spot on.
Can't stop that.
Yep, I like it.
Goes back to Zaharak, or back to Merritt. Now the Bombers, they're just trying to track across the ground. They do. Gleeson again. He got it from Ambrose.
Here comes the switch again.
Back to Bagley. Over the top, he's got Merritt. Merritt's got his own footy out there at the moment because no one wants to go near him. Mundy's now going to him.
That's number 15.
He'll go
Yeah,
long
they're
up the
not
line.
50.
You're going to go back, Brendan, with courage.
BJ.
Not sure it was a lot
Beat.
there.
But no,
Now the Bombers, good work. They go forward, Laverde.
He was running on hot coals in, BJ.
He was, and it'll be cut off. And now Fremantle through Sutcliffe will
Touch
take the
on
footy.
Spud's impersonating him in the back row.
Touch of the Nigel Smarts. Sheridan.
Want to put the big ones in.
Sheridan. Down the line to the centre wing, Crozier marks. Handballs it off to Subin. Down the line they go, Stephen
But that's
Hill
not
out of side
Goddard's
of the ground.
strength anyway.
No, that's right. But you've got to sort of
He's a
half
great
go.
player. He's a great player, but you can test it occasionally.
Stephen Hill
Little
drives it up towards Tabernar. Gee, did some good
grab.
work early
Good
then,
grab.
Tabernar. And took a Glenn Cameron group mark of the day. Another classic
He
Cameron.
ragdolled him.
He
Ragdolled
certainly did.
Dice Nepple there, and he's filthy.
Well, if they can get it in there, obviously no Hurley, no hooker.
Well, they're getting smashed on the inside 50,
Yeah.
Spud. They're down by 10, 22 to the Bombers and 10 to Fremantle.
He's looked a chance today, this bloke. This is his third mark, Tabernar.
When they get it in, Del, they're looking dangerous,
Yes.
aren't they?
Yep.
So,
Look at
Yeah,
Beach.
Kevin
The
Nard
goal
there.
There's a blood rule here, boys.
Oh, he's
Mark
Bagley.
Bagley is coming off with the blood rule after, I'm guessing, that collision before with Tabernar.
told you there was some blood in bloods.
Yeah, I know
Australian
there's-
Red Cross Blood
right.
Service. To give blood, call 13 14 95 or visit donoblood.com.
No,
We're
it
agreeing
was
with
your
you, Eddie.
insinuation. That's what we were going on about.
okay, fair enough.
thought
You
it
just
was
didn't like it
reportable.
because we didn't really back
It's a bit-
over and
It's a bit
compliment
tough.
you.
It's a tough piece
You
of
actually
play.
called, so we just allowed that to breathe.
Yeah.
I thought you put.
You don't need affirmation every time you make a comment, do you?
Good call,
I thought you
Andy.
poo-hooed.
Oh, great call.
No, we
Andy.
didn't. We just said well picked up.
Glad that Ox.
Mentally, we said well done.
Anyway, Tabernar comes in from 35. Not bad. Very good.
Yeah,
Kicks
good
the
in.
goal.
Yeah, good job, Andy.
6-3, 39 Essendon, 4-1, 25. The Dockers on the Jacklings Jerky scoreboard. Feed your wild side.
Well, after a really good start from Essendon, they've just hit back again a little bit. Freo, Del. So, yeah, if they get the ball in there, they're looking quite dangerous. But that's the issue. Just are they getting enough opportunities going forward?
Well, it's going to come down purely to the midfield then. If you're referring to inside 50s for Fremantle, they're not getting a lot of rebound off halfback. They're not getting a lot of flow with their ball movement when they come through the middle of the ground. when you got the likes of both the Hill brothers, Fife, Mundy and Neil, you would have thought, as long as they can get the ruck contest neutralised, Bellchambers doesn't get on top too much, you'd almost back the Freo midfielders in over the Bombers.
Bellchambers and Griffin, good contest on that occasion. Fife wrapped up in the tackle, he can't get it out. Now he does, umpire says mine.
At the moment you've got Michael Johnson who's trying to be free, or it could be...
it's Ryan.
Yeah,
it's Ryan
Ryan.
that's dropped off again.
Yeah, but I'd get Johnson back and v Goddard. So the Goddard loose is having more impact than Freo.
Griffin, Neil came through, good work, got it out. Just got a little bit of real estate, but Gleeson's coming up with the foot. He's had a really good afternoon thus far. Gleeson goes long up towards half forward, not the best kick. Going back for Fremantle is Sutcliffe. Good mark. He's been all right, Sutcliffe.
Certainly has.
Just comes back again. Ryan brings it inboard. Subin, good work. Now they're away. Are they away? All right, they're in the centre of the ground. They drive it inside, attacking 52 on 1. Got him cold here. Fremantle got numbers. Big Griffin, what a grab! He's kicked a ripper! Did you see that? He just bitted it out of the air. Chisholm gave a goal of the day. There's a baseball mitt.
It was beautifully called, Ox.
The big boy.
Bit of
Have a look at the
Kuda
Chemist Warehouse. Talk us through it, Del.
Well, for the first time, they got a bit of flow, a bit of overlap handball. Weller coming through the centre of the ground, lobbed up right on top of Kirsten, said, he's going to say he meant to tap that onto the front and centre of the big man.
He's kicked too.
Just a nice little one-handed pluck, a duck on the way through. Marty Gleeson being the third up. Griffin saying, oh, geez, a great tap. It was almost behind his body and above his head.
The score reads 6-3-39, Freo 5-1-31
Hanging
on the Jack
around.
Jerky scoreboard.
Might be a bit of a broken record here, Del, but that Ryan kick from
yes.
that pocket set it all up.
Yep.
Magnificent.
Yeah,
Well, they're obviously happy to play him versus Goddard. They're going to say whoever uses the best off halfback will have a big say on the outcome of this game.
So Essendon get the centre clearance through Merritt, a couple of quick handballs. Zaharakis was in the middle of that as well. Myers marks at half forward, too far out to score. Thumping kick, little helicopter action on that one. Shocker in the end, and Fife drops back and takes a good defensive mark.
Not his strongest area of AFL football is Myers. A couple of finger breakers along the way, I would have thought.
He can kick it.
He can boot the cover off it.
Yeah.
Just
not accurately.
Stephen Hill.
Oh!
Big fly out there,
Crows
but
it.
Kelly just read it better than anyone. Takes the mark to Collier.
Hands up.
Collier goes to Zaharakis. 80 out from goal.
Unsigned.
he's been pretty quiet so far today, only the 4 Dodos.
Pokes it into Stewart, who's got the sit here on Collins. Collins did some good
Did
body
well.
work, nice stuff. Laverde was in there, 5, getting back to help out to Crozier. Has to get rid of it quickly, does. Goes looking for Cox. Big fist found Kelly. Zaharakis goes back to Goddard. Acres of space. Bellchambers, middle of the ground, takes the mark, plays on that. The worst kick of 2017.
Dump.
To Stewart, just went straight up. I think he was trying to hit the roof. There might have been a little joke amongst the teammates. Hamling, as the flow in this one just peters out, and we'll have a ball up about 35 out from the Essendon goal. 6-3-39, 5-1-31 this quarter for Identifiber, Asbestos Hazardous Materials Risk Management Services.
Bellchambers came in, just got Griffin out of the way, but good work there. Fremantle now. And could be out here because the young man again, Tucker, I like the way he goes about his footy.
Yeah, a lot of Saints people travelling the MCG. You'd be liking what they're seeing at Freo at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Tabernar's got it. Centre wing.
Stay
Goes
tuned.
long up towards half forward. Up they fly. Gleeson's been good. Comes back, didn't get paid the mark. Goddard just setting it up to Myers in the middle of the ground. He's got players fanning out right, and one of them is Parrish. Needs to take the mark.
Well done. Fine.
Hit him beautifully.
Magnificent.
What a spoil. Freo just up and about at the moment. Bennell coming over towards the footy. Needs a bounce. And Kelly's going to go to him, and
He's
over the
hurt,
boundary line he
Fife.
goes.
He's winded himself in that. Yeah, he winded himself PA.
Super effort.
Great effort.
As you're running in, you're about 10 metres away from the ball. You know you're struggling. You're not going to get there. He just took the body with him.
Straight on the phone to say from the coach, well done, young fella.
Absolutely. That's a captain's effort. I'd love to see Bennell or Bennell go a little bit deeper, be a little bit more crafty towards goal. He's sort of in no man's land at centre half forward at the moment.
Griffin, Hill might have caught one in the chops. There's Neil over the top of the footy. Comes out, Heppel, nice by hand. Merritt, I'm telling you now, you better pay some attention in Fremantle. Starting to get busy.
Number 16,
Zaharakis, back to Kelly. Set it up!
Oh, good
There is a
umpire.
header! Kavanagh!
No!
Free kick. What is that? A free kick?
No!
he
The
played
umpire's
for?
called a free kick. That is garbage.
He's number
That is
32.
rubbish.
No, he done enough.
That's
The
not getting
worst
paid in
free kick
Perth.
of the century.
Oh.
That's
That
not
is a
getting-
disgrace.
That's not getting paid anywhere, BA.
32.
Oh,
just a good play.
Hey, umpire number 32's paid 3 absolute
Oh.
stinking decisions in this game today.
This is AFL footy, and it's a good bump.
You know what? Anyway, Bombers have got it on half back. Umpire, they've just seen what happened on the replay, and even the Bombers fans are going, that
That's
stinks.
embarrassing. It's ruining the game. That's
Nah, that was just a really good hit.
Cost them a goal too because they picked it up and were running into the goal square.
Spot on.
Kelly's got it on centre wing for the Bombers now, drives it inside, attacking 50. Bell Chambers has found space. Good hit. Really good hit.
Play on.
Fremantle spoiling. No!
Why is that a free kick?
Another free kick.
No, that was
Yeah,
all
what
right.
was
That
that
one was
for?
okay. Shepherding off the ball.
Honestly, you take it, Andy. I've just got to catch my breath because this
Yeah.
umpiring is shocking.
No, it ruins the footy. The game needs a summit on contact. It really does. Umpire's got no idea half the time. McKenna gets it from Merritt. Little pokey one to Hocking. Runs to 49. Thumping ball trying to come back. It's not going to get there in the end. And standing his ground is Collins. He's a lump of a young man. Takes the mark. Gives it to Subin. Johnson. Finger tipper down the corridor looking for Stephen Hill. That's a terrific grab. Not paid. Then Collier left the footy behind. Hughes, Mundy. Oh, they've got to get some clean footy here. Tucker, Mundy, quick kick.
Well done.
Just had to get rid of it. That's brilliant vision.
He knew he was there.
Got Hughes on.
The execution was outstanding. Floaty little ball finds Hughes.
I've liked
no
the look
problems.
of, once again, I know Gleeson's been around for a while, but just his ability to slow the play down there. He went off his direct opponent in front of the footy and just makes them go long down the line. Well done, Marty Gleeson.
To a 2-1. That's a good
There you go.
mark.
That's a direct result of Gleeson manning the mark well.
On cue, Begley takes the mark, goes in towards Parrish, who marks on centre wing. Go again, Ox.
Parrish has got it now. Danaher on the lead. Oh, yeah. Good space to work into.
Handling was just caught up the ground on Stewart on that occasion, and good call there, Ox. I think it was Collins just spectated the ball, and you're always going to be in trouble when you have to search for the forward. Just reference off Danaher far too much.
Just have a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay of that spoil. That is rubbish.
It is.
What a shocking decision.
It's cost them all the momentum. They had all the play Freo. They kicked back-to-back goals.
Joey, 45-degree angle, 45 out. He's pulled it, and that's his bag kick. Comes across his body, one behind. Bombers, they move on to 6-4-40. Freo 5-1-31. We travelled 14 minutes and 43 seconds in the second quarter. This quarter for Identifier.
I know it's only a little thing, Ox. You've kicked a lot of goals in your career, but that was a different style and approach by Danaher to what he normally does.
Gee, Ryan with a drop punt on the way in's kicked it about 65, 70 metres, but Essendon's going to come back in. Merritt, that's a magnificent ball to the presenting lead from Danaher. Gee, you get him dished up like that as a key forward, you're going to be pretty happy.
Well, Andy, one of the best ball users in the league, in my opinion, in the top 3, Zach Merritt. He's had 9 disposals, 7 of them kicks in this quarter. We've been going 15 minutes. No one's near him. And you know he's left-sided. Cover his left foot. Push him to the right. Push him to the boundary. He's giving Danaher another opportunity.
Subin's trying to get there for Toyota material
Well,
handling.
don't try. Just get on him.
So Danaher from right on 50.
That's a better
that
kick.
one.
Look at that.
That is a magnificent strike from Joe Danaher, who's got his second. And Essendon get their 7-4-46 the Bombers. Fremantle 5-1-31 been going. Nearly 16 minutes in the second quarter for on the air conditioning warehouse sales clock. Get Melbourne's best air conditioning prices at air conditioning warehouse sales.
What a weapon he is. He's just kicked he's had back-to-back shots at goal. Bell Chambers needs a spell. Then you got Danaher in the ruck. It's just a great luxury. 11 inside 50s for 3 goals, 1 Essendon have had. So you'd say Fremantle defending okay. Freo have been in 4 times for 2 goals, and that's been the issue. They just can't penetrate through the ground, Freo. But gee, Danaher on Griffin, you like this match up the moment if Essendon get the ball.
Well, he's in the ruck. Danaher went up just a little bit too early. Oh, Watson got it. Extracted out of the middle and brings it inside, attacking 50. Oh, good one-on-one contest there. Stewart got out of the way. Fremantle really well done through Collins. Been okay, the big hit. Got it now to Valentine.
Good hands.
Working well now to Kirsten. needs to do something, brings it in board. Taberner! Too strong. And this is the problem for the Bombers when they get it inside Spud, they're scoring.
Well, they are. That's their 5th inside 50 and should be their 3rd goal. Gee, it was really good body work. Beautiful kick, though. Just kicked it over the top of his Essendon teammate. Who was it, the young kid there? Hartley. And it was just really good body work from Taverner, but the kick was far too good.
Kirsten with the kick,
yeah. Kirsten's kick was great.
Taverner comes in.
Well done.
Might have just... Oh, he's hit them. Good work. Halfway up, he thought it was through. He was about to high-five, and he pulled the high-five back when it hits the post. 7-4-46, Essendon, 3-05-2-32.
Quick ball back in from Goddard to Bagley, but it's going to come back as Cox stands in the middle of the pack and takes a mark.
It's going to be all right, this kid.
Goes inboard. Johnson cut it off. Bennell was the intended receiver. Goes to the top of the square. Big pack. Oh, that's a terrific grab from Bagley. Smallest man in the air. And about 3rd man up takes a Glenn Cameron group mark of the day.
Yeah, that's confidence, isn't it? They've manned up well here, Freo. They'll have to go long.
Out of sight of the ground. He decides to go short. To Hempel, who hits the ground running. Comes into Parrish. Mark's just shy of centre half back for the Bombers. He goes out wide to Goddard with the hand to Kelly, who runs to receive. Little ball in, wasn't great, looking for Hocking. Johnson, chance to turn it over here, Fife. Getting back into a lot of defensive work, Crozier. Back now they go. Ryan again. Oh, gee, went with the one-hander. Should have been a shepherding free kick. It was against Goddard. Took the run of Griffin.
Because they are working so hard back, Andy, right now they don't have many plays in front of the footy, and there's 3 Essendon players. And they'll have the outnumber here down the line, Essendon.
Griffin goes to Tabner in the middle of a couple of Bombers. Brought the ball to ground. Watson wrapped up. Bagley again. Held in the contest. Good work from Hempel. Gets it to McKenna. Gee, explodes away from the traffic, but the kick was poor. Cox in the middle of that Weller. Now the handball. Chance to really turn it over here, the Dockers. Well, Neal gets to centre half forward. Puts it in front of Mundy. Poor kick. With him every step of the way. Rakas wraps him up. No Pryor. Ball up. 45 out from the Fremantle.
What's going on around the world? Ox?
Mayweather is just coming into the stadium wearing a balaclava.
You are obsessed. That's
balaclava.
The best ever.
For McGregor Portables. Cox farms it over. Bennell tried to go through. Hitting it hard was Weller. Taken high. He drew one, I reckon, from the umpire here. Crozier, beg your pardon. Well, that's probably better, BA. Is it probably a better chance from here than Weller, with all due respect to Lockie?
He's a lovely thumping kick, normally Lockie, but Crozier's certainly a nice kick as well on his left side.
Well, you just got to make the most of your opportunities, and that last kick from Taverner, and even the crowd, you can sense that, okay, Freo are hanging in there, but they need to make the most of their opportunities, Freo.
What do you reckon, Andy?
Put him down.
Yeah,
he's a neat kick.
He kicks from 49. Oh, that's a magnificent strike. Is it drifting? Oh, just misses. Gee, he did it easily, didn't he?
Beautiful kick.
7-4, 46, 5-3, 33. Jack Link's jerky scoreboard feed you while side.
Kelly, he got it off McKenna. Goes back to McKenna in the goal square. Oh, he's got in the target. He did. Found Heppel. Standing out. Looks like Goss Heppel's wearing bowling shoes.
The old school retro Puma footy boots.
Like they're the Puma Kings, yeah?
They are. The old school. The old Robert Harvey ones when I was a kid. They were the ones that Banger used to wear. Not in red.
Heppel's got the loose over the top. Coming up. Good contest. Good spoil. Numbers here, 5. Good at ground level. Oh, he could have been legged, was it? Umpire said okay. Now McKenna going backwards. Trying to work their way through. Bombers just going to get it now to half forward. Good work. And Collier's got it.
Gee, Fife's working his ring off.
Yeah, he is. Collier gets it inboard now. Going back. Good work. Geez, good play up. Luke Ryan, he flew back. Had no regard for his safety and punched it over the boundary line. This is where he can be really opened up on the ribs, and luckily he wasn't.
You talk about the work rate of 5. What about Bennell? How can we get him into the game? He's the one.
He's only had... He's only had 4 dodos. I'd love to see him go a little bit deeper. Put him in right at the heart of it as a centre bounce.
Get him into the game.
Or put him right deep. I think he's just in the middle at the moment.
Oh, Collier, he might be able to pick it up here. Just needs a little bit of help. He's slitting on top of the footy. Umpire says, give it to me right beside the point post.
I think your point's right. Actually, put him deep, right in the goal square, so you actually force him to go to the ball.
And give him some space.
Would you put him in the middle at all?
Or get him right in the middle.
One or the other. I just think at half four, the ball's going over his head too much. He's not at the contest and he's not at the stopping, at the fall of the ball.
It was thrown up and pushed through by Collier. So one behind to the Bombers. They move a little bit further in front, 7-5-47. Fremantle 5-3-33. They won't go away at the moment, the Dockers.
Johnson short to Weller, to Sutcliffe. The handball out in front of Stephen Hill was cut off by Ambrose, but they're going to keep it alive here through Taberner. Maybe. They've turned this over, almost Fremantle, just through some errant handling of the footy.
They're trying to get some run through the middle, and it's either a handball that go to the ground. Yeah, you're spot on. It's just... They're forcing it. I like the way they're trying to play, but just the skill level at the moment's hurting them.
Cox goes up. Heppel, brilliant take at ground level. Gets it to McGrath into the pocket, one-on-one. Play on's the call, should be. Weller. Watson wrapped him up, gave it to Collins. Took on the tackler, got the hands free, missed the handball. McDonald tipping Woody. Drew the tackler, then couldn't get the kick away. Chance for Stewart. Handball over the top to Watson. Can't take it cleanly. Play on should be the call. It is. Body's going it over the top of the ball.
Better umpiring.
Let
it go.
We'll have a ball up.
Unless it's there, don't pay it. Don't invent stuff.
Crowd have a look at the Chemist Warehouse replays through, and they're willing Danaher to get a free kick. There's nothing in it.
20 out. Collier sweeps onto it. Mundy good at ground level. And coming through for Fremantle there was Sheridan. We'll have a throw in. 30 metres around.
Well, you compare this game to a game we covered a month or so ago, Essendon versus the Brisbane Lions. It's almost got that feel again. The Dons look like they're the better team. They're moving the ball better, but they haven't put the Freo Dockers away. Very similar to a month or so ago when the Brizzy in the last quarter started hitting the scoreboard and stuck away with the victory.
Cox, Mundy, but the Bombers good. They get it in towards attacking 50. Oh no, into the footy. Heath Hocking watched it hit the ground. It hits the floor now. Stewart now picked it up. Didn't kind of get rid of it. Hill did though. Slammed it onto his boot. 2-on-1. Up they fly. Fife went in the footy.
3 to 5.
Oh my Godfather.
I reckon Bagley back into him.
That's against him.
I've honestly had enough of this.
No.
Well, Fife's asking the question as well.
5 free kicks.
Actually, you're right.
Just let it go.
May have had hands on his shoulder.
Surely play on is the call.
Bagley gets it inside, attacking 50, going back. Now, I'll tell you now, Fremantle, they're going to get out here. If the kick hits the target, doesn't. Ballantyne's quick. Got good at ground level. Good work there by Cox, and the boundary line to win a centre wing.
Has he had a dodo yet, Ballantyne?
Ballantyne has had
a couple of dodos.
He's had 6.
Has he really?
What's the free kick count, may I ask?
Question
I'm not saying it's...
No.
We'll get back to you. Just call the game, Ox. We'll get back to you with the dodos.
I'll get back there. Just the dodo machine just warming up a bit.
It's called down this
16 to 7, Ox.
16-7.
Righto. Head ball.
Really?
To Myers, back to Heppel, working in tight spaces on the right. Nice use to Belchambers. Parrish goes quickly. He's looking for Begley, not Bagley. And Begley on the second bite takes the mark. 35 out directly in front.
Lockie Weller needs to have a
what it was, Ox, it was ships in the night. He tried to get the perfect spoil. All he had to do, without giving a free kick away, was body line hit his direct opponent's body. Because what's going on is Begley is actually right under the ball, so his body frame's not going to move. So you just make contact with your chest and create a spillage.
He can kick a goal, this bloke. He comes in. That's not a bad looking strike.
That hurts.
And that does hurt. Doesn't hurt Essendon. It helps them enormously. Begley gets his first. 8-5-53 the Bombers, 5-3-33 the Dockers. This quarter for identifier has asbestos and hazardous materials risk management services. Remember Paul Barnard, who used to wear number 16 for the Bombers?
Got a
little shades of Paul Barnard.
A little bit smaller in stature.
Especially in the trunk.
Big head like Barney, and you know, sort of mid-sized forward.
Just getting back to those 3 kicks.
Well, we know he can kick a goal. He was good on debut last week.
4 in a grand final.
Those 16 free kicks, there's 5 have been incidental, I reckon, holding the man, head-high contact. So
you don't mind if they're both going.
It's Tiggy Touchwood one's Ox.
Up it goes now. Griffin got it.
The umpire's down again.
Umpire's down again. There's been a lot of umpire collisions today.
Those blue shirts, I think.
McGrath back to Merritt, then on to Bagley, back to McGrath again, centre wing, goes long up towards half forward. Gee, they're good now. That was Watson, but unfortunately they turn it over and Fremantle want it back. Lockie Neal's now got it centre wing, got the loose up forward, good mark. So they're playing really well, Fremantle. Lockie well up. He wants to bring it inboard now. They're just about to bring it inside 50. They do now. 2-on-1. Taberner. 1-on-2. He needs a little bit of help. Get over there and help him. Bradley Hill. Collier good at ground level. The Bombers with numbers. They'll be able to clear.
They do.
Bell
Chambers used his body well. Didn't take the mark on Griffin. Johnson goes in, lends a hand. Body's under a lot of humanity there. Ball's under a lot of humanity there. Hey, they're underway. Around the ground, some McGregor Portables off the screen. Flat a footy change room near you. McGregor v Mayweather.
Mayweather's very defensive. McGregor's trying to knock him out early. Nil or draw. A minute into the first round.
Bangladesh 1 for 10.
I'll keep you posted.
1 for 10, Bangladesh.
Don't worry about the bangers.
Come on.
Do not worry about the bangers until this is done.
It's the Australian Test team we're talking
care.
about.
It's about
Mayweather.
Ambrose. Oh, bang! Straight over the top of
that
Ambrose.
Is a free kick.
That was crude.
That could be reportable, you know.
That was crude by Taberner.
His knees were right in the head.
We'll have a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay here. That's ugly.
Yeah, that is
ugly.
I reckon he tried to slow up.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, after looking at it again, I'm with Ox a little bit. It was ugly. He shouldn't have led with his knees.
You've got to remember he's over 198 centimetres.
Didn't have to go to ground in the first place. Tip and Woody can't take the
that.
mark. Danaher potentially doing the crumbing work. Gee,
great
hit
effort.
hard. Kept his eyes on the footy, did Big Joe. Tip and Woody goes in, gets it to Watson over the top. Needs Tip and Woody cruising by. Brilliant handball by Watson. Misses Parrish with a kick. McDonald, Tip and Woody Collins to Ryan. His kicking's been extraordinary. Gives it to Hughes. On the non-preferred, Watson bats it down. Parrish a chance. Get it to Merritt. Can't do it. Threw it away. Merritt goes in and gets it. Watson threads it back to Myers. She got around the Neal tackle a bit too easily then hacks one of those Nick Del Santo kicks that he spoke about before. Not one of yours, but one of the ones you spoke about before.
I was going to say, that looked like a very tired tackle there by Lockie Neal. Should have never got around him.
Watson turned back the clock there. He's played pretty well, hasn't he?
Pretty up-tempo game of footy here, and players around Etihad Stadium appear to be feeling the pinch as the half-time siren sounds. And at the long break, the Bombers take a 20-point lead in. It's been hard-earned. 8-5, 53 Essendon, 5-3, 33 Fremantle. After the break, we'll check out all the action on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. Spoiled Dad with big brand fragrances at Chemist Warehouse. The real house of fragrance this Father's Day. Also have a look at the leading contenders for the Tyre Power Player of the Day. This 11-16 SEN footy. But Toyota's Good for Footy program encouraging all Australians to have a crack. Subway, my kind of win-to-win boost. The great tasting vitamin boost. And Energy Australia, light the way.
Footy replay. The Chemist Warehouse. Spoiled Dad with big brand fragrances at Chemist Warehouse. The real house of fragrances this Father's Day.
Joe Watson got it, had a step down. Merritt! Snapped on the left goal to the Bombers.
Look at this.
Another chance. Collier runs onto it. Lovely little fend over the top from Danaher. Merritt for number 2. On the left boot again. Kicks another one.
They're in the centre of the ground. They drive it inside, attacking 52-on-1. Got him cold here. Fremantle got numbers. Big Griffin, what a crowd! He's kicked a ripper! Did you see that?
On 11:16 SEN, the halftime break for Kangan Institute. Real education, real skills, real jobs. Kangan.edu.au.
Yes, Oxy, we did see it. Kangan Institute halftime break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs. Kangan.edu.au at halftime. It is the Bombers 8-5, 53. Fremantle 5-3, 33. Nick Del Santo to go through what's happened in the opening half. And I think at various stages, Del, it's looked like Essendon's going to slip Fremantle pretty easily here. But to Fremantle's credit, they've kept it. They've kept it a contest at least to the halfway point.
I'm in two minds at the moment, Ian.
Yeah,
you look at the Bombers, they dominate the first 10-15 minutes of the first quarter. They do the same thing at the start of the second quarter with Merritt kicking 2 goals in 2 minutes. You think they're going to run away with it here. Freo haven't got a lot of firepower coming out of the half-back line. You speak about Ryan with his use by foot. I've mentioned the 4 or 5, in my opinion, almost A-grade midfielders from the Freo Dockers that aren't getting enough of the ball or not doing enough with it at this stage. They're just hanging in there, the Freo Dockers. But on the flip side, to their credit, they are still in the game. They're only down by 20-odd points. and haven't really fired a shot, haven't had any really smooth passages of play, had any really easy goals out of their work. So if you're Ross Lyon, you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, we've got a lot of upside here. We've got a young group. Some players are playing for their career. There's no doubt about it. And that's often the bit that you miss when you say it's a dead rubber. There's not a lot for Fremantle. Absolutely, there's a lot to play for. These guys are competitors. They put so much time and effort into their job, and it is their job. They don't want to turn up here and put in one last poor effort and then have 6 months to think about it. They're here to win. They're here to finish their season off on a positive note. But then you look at the Bombers.
Particularly after 200 points.
Oh, exactly, which is unacceptable. And I know Ross Lyon very well, and he's the ultra competitor. He does not tolerate that sort of stuff, and he demands that of his players, and they demand it of themselves. So they'd be really disappointed. They're here to have a good showing. And I reckon what they would have spoken about at some stage, Andy, is let's ruin Essendon's finals chances. That's what we can do here. We can make it hard for somebody else. So they need to lift their game. But as I mentioned, only 20 points down. That's their positive if you're trying to find something bright from the Dockers side of things.
What about the Bombers? Yeah.
It's just a weight of numbers. They're smashing them on inside 50s. They've had 35. So if you walk off with 70 inside 50s, I don't know what the percentage is, but let's just say 95% of the time you're going to win. That's just too much inside 50. They just need to maybe capitalise a little bit more. 8 goals, 5 is probably not the greatest reward for the amount of dominance they've had in this game. But once again, a lot of upside in the second half.
They've had 2 prolific ball winners to half-time on the Dodo stat sheet. Goddard's had 20 and Merritt's had 20. Has enough, to your eye and the way that you've seen the game thus far, has there been enough done from Fremantle to curb the influence of both Goddard and Merritt?
No. And the one with Goddard, and a lot of people say, but Goddard's the spare defender. He's the one that's going to go back and plays the extra. That's fine. But as a Fremantle forward, you can actually initiate that contest. You can actually come up, roll up onto Goddard, stand beside him, make it a 2-on-1, because Goddard doesn't want to play on that person, and the Essendon players want him to always be free. So just initiate a 2v1, sacrifice your own game for the greater good of the Dockers. And in regards to Merritt, just someone stand near him. Stand on his left side so he can't continue to wheel onto his preferred side. To kick 2 goals in that first 2 minutes is heartbreaking for the amount of work that they were doing. And for him to run away at this stage and have 20 disposals, 12 of them kicks, and that kills you when he's having that much of the ball by foot. And then he's also just his metres gained. He's just under 300. So those 2 in particular need to put a little bit of time and effort into them.
Well, 20 of his disposals have been uncontested, so it's not as if he's being taggable by just getting his footy in the contest. I mean, he is getting it on the outside, which does give a tagger a chance to sort of get with him.
And my only defence for the Freo Dockers and maybe the coaching staff as well is they don't necessarily want to tag. They want to be a bit more positive today. They want to play their own brand of football. They don't want to come here and be negative. And it sort of reminds me of a game from about 2013 when Ross Lyon brought over, and they were playing the finals next week, and Ross Lyon brought over a very, very inexperienced team. Some of those guys still playing today. And they didn't tag anyone against the Saints. They just went out there and just not had a day out in regards to run around, did their own thing. But we're trying to learn, opposed to going to some of the St Kilda midfielders and trying to shut them down.
Before we get to your 5 players who need to lift the most, just a word on Jobe Watson.
Yes.
Dale, you played a lot of footy against him, obviously, through the journey. He's at the 14 to half-time. His kicking efficiency is not great at half-time. But he's had 11 contested possessions out of the 14. He's had 5 clearances, laid a couple of tackles. He definitely gives us the impression, I reckon, of a bloke who, okay, lift. I know I've got 1, 2, hopefully 1 or 2 more left in me than that, and now whatever I've got left in the shell, I'm going to bring it out.
I've always said, across whatever level of football you play with yourself, you need to be honest with what you're good at. And I think Jobe has recognised in that last passage of play, or one of the last passages of play, just before half-time, when Jobe was out 5 metres forward of the stoppage, he knew he didn't have the leg speed. So that's him understanding, I'm going to get chased down, but he didn't give the handball off straight away. He delayed it, made the defender come to him, flips out the handball to Tip and Woody, who's lightning quick, and allowed him to do the running and run into space. I've been really impressed with Jobe, and a lot of people are questioning, can you take him into finals? You can when he does that. Absolutely. And bad kicks, those things happen. It's happening across the AFL, so to single out Jobe would be disrespectful and incorrect. But allow him to do what he does really well. His Brownlow sort of stuff was he wins the ball in at the stoppage. He feeds it out to guys that are really good by foot. And I reckon if you ask someone like a Zach Merritt or a Goddard, does Jobe Watson have a place in this team? Does he contribute? They would both put their hand up and say, thank you very much for handballing the ball to me like you do.
No doubt. Kangan Institute halftime break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs. Kangan.edu.au. The SEN Matchworks Recruiter of the Year, Dell, connecting people to jobs. Matchworks.com.au. McGrath, Begley, Hamlin, Kirsten and Cox in the running for that nod today? Any of that collection of players get your...
I like Begley. I know he's only in his first couple of games, but I like Begley. I know he hasn't done a great deal. He shows some good signs. Should have finished off that goal, but we'll keep an eye on that. But he's my front runner at this stage.
Now, you're doing the 5 that need to lift or the top?
Need to improve. I'm a positive person, Andy.
Spud can get stuck.
No, I'm doing needs to improve. I'm doing the bottom 5.
So Spud can do the tyre power player of the match 5 on the other side of the break. Who are the 5 that need to lift?
I've got Myers, who I just spoke about kicking efficiency. He's going at 17% by foot. It's really hard to win the ball. That's the main skill at AFL level, but if you're going to win it, try and give it to somebody that's on your team as well. So he can lift. These are just positive. So he's had 12, so it's not like he's going poorly. But if he can kick it a little bit better, things will get a lot better for the Bombers. Collier only had the 7. And speaking about poor kicking efficiency, that means the ball's on the ground a little bit more. And when you're a small forward and you've got his amount of speed and elusiveness, I'd like to see him do a little bit more. Number 3 is Zaharakis, who's only had the 10 disposals. And he's actually had a really good year in the end, averaging 26 disposals a game, gets on the scoreboard, and his last month or so has been spectacular. So a lot of room for him to improve. I go to Subban. And the reason I've got Nick Subban in there is because he did go to Zach Merritt. They did recognise the Freo Dockers midfield that he's getting away from us, but then he's given up a couple of goals, and Merritt's had 20 disposals and 2. So that's the only reason I'm in there. I think he can improve if he can shut down his opponent. And the number 1 is Benal. Not his fault in a lot of ways, and we spoke about in that second quarter in particular. I'd love to see him come into the midfield, have the ability to free flow a little bit, pop in, pop out of the stoppage, go through a little bit quicker than normal, try and win it underneath the ruckman's chest, but then go deep forward. I think when he's been playing as the traditional half-forward flanker across the half-forward line, he's been watching the ball go over his head. He's just in no man's land. He's in the middle of the kicks the whole time. We know he's very crafty. We know it's been a long time since he's played. I know he played last week and did a couple of really good things. I'd like to see him, maybe him and one other forward for the Freo Dockers, almost 2 out, 2v2 in the forward half. Get Goddard in no man's land, put him in the middle, and see how they can defend the Bombers. A lot of upside for Benal and the Freo Dockers. Around
the ground, some McGregor Portables, office granny flat or footy changer near you. Bangladesh 3 for 14 in the first test against Australia. This is the Kangan Institute halftime break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs. Kangan.edu.au. We got your back, Spud. You with us? The SEN Tyre Power player of the match. Get the power to buy 3, get 1 free on selected BF Goodrich passenger car, SUV and sports performance tyres. Pop in to see Ian at Tyre Power in Hawthorn, our Tyre Power dealer of the week. Who are the 5 that are in the running for the 3 votes thus far at the end of the day, Spud?
Yeah, you'd have to put the 2 guys for Essendon leading the Dodos. Goddard, look, he's played a really good game, and I think Dell touched on it, but he's been allowed to by Ross Lyon, which I'm a bit staggered, to be brutally honest. How you allow him free, because he's got 271 metres gain, he's had 20 disposals, going at 77%, so he's hitting targets, he's had great score involvements. Merritt's the other one. He's had 20, he's had 2 clearances, 4 contested ball, so he's getting the ball on the outside, Andy. So you need to put some time into him. And I know you've got to win the game, and I know that Subban went on to him late, but he's kicked 2 goals, so you'd have to think he's right out there. And I also think that Jobe Watson has turned back the clock a little bit. I think his hands have been better than his kicking today, but I'm going to put him in there because I just love the way, we're not going to see much more of Jobe, and it's good to see. For Freo, Ryan, he's had 11 disposals, 9 kicks, all lace out. So he's been a ripper. Fife's tried extremely hard. I'm surprised he only had 13, but he's getting in the inside. He's had 4 clearances and 10 contested balls. So all his possessions, unfortunately, you're in close. So he's probably lost that athleticism when he gets the ball on the outside. So he's had a pretty good game.
That's your 5, isn't it?
That's it, mate. 5. I think that, and Freo, look, they're hanging in there. They'll be pretty disappointed. I think the one where Andy, that free kick was against the flow. But anyway, you'd think Freo are going to win the game.
Essendon, you reckon?
Sorry, Essendon, sorry. Sorry, mate.
Kangan Institute halftime break. Kangan Institute, real education, real skills, real jobs. Kangan.edu.au. We're going to break our way clear some communities, come back with the opening bounce of the third quarter. Here at Etihad, the Bombers leading by 20 points.